That's what a board, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, should be doing. And our board seems to be just so tied up in operations. It just makes me a bit sad, and a bit sad for them. I wanted to just have a wee chat about this. So Cade Beck from the WIC made an interesting post. The WCA in its current state is suffering from a lack of innovation. Bold, harsh, possibly fair. This is something that has become more and more apparent as our organisation grows, yet we are still using procedures from over 20 years ago to run competitions in the modern day that have very different needs and resources compared to what competitions were like even 5 years ago. Dare I say it, appropriate rules, regulations, guidelines for looking after the young people in our community. Dare I say that? There, I dared it. A few responsibilities of Cade's imaginary committee would be researching new competition formats, creating resources for organisers to streamline, experiment with new timer hardware, alternative score-taking methods like Timebase, collaborate with committees like WRC and WST to optimise their workload more efficiently, research unofficial events to determine which ones are worth considering, new competition systems, support mechanism for other committees to further their interests. I'm not sure what that means. Reaching out to the community for new ideas. That's dangerous. Assisting in the creation of new committees and reimagining the scope of existing committees. There are some pros and cons. Pros paves the way for more exciting things to come for both competitors and staff. A bona fide method to change things with explicit motions to do so. That's important. That's important. Increases community input within the WCA, streamlines what are currently difficult, slow, and or tedious processes, like switching to new competition practices, adding new events, creating new committees. Cons will need a large discretionary fund, potentially. Would it? I mean, that would be case by case. Motions will be vague at first. Unclear goals if it's still new. Well, that's what setting up a committee is. I don't think these are huge cons. I do like this idea from Cade. There were some posts. Oh, there was a post that was later deleted, which was talking about how a lot of these are already under the remit of existing committees. To which my response is actually echoed by Samuel Baird here. The work of many of these teams and committees doesn't involve trying to make major improvements. And a lot of the work is just necessary that happens in order to keep the WCA running. And I feel like that's kind of the issue that I've raised with my sort of fears about the WCA, is that they're just running on keeping going. They're just like a hamster in a wheel, keeping the whole thing moving, which is totally fair and understandable, and I get it. And I think actually backs up Cade's point that do we have a big focus on, we've focused on growth and we've grown, but have we actually focused on improving and streamlining in a bunch of aspects? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. He goes on to say, Samuel, WRC spends most of the time giving delegates feedback on reports and making rulings for incidents. Very important, and they should do that. WCAT spends most of the time approving or editing competitions, and WAC wasn't really supposed to do any of those things other than being in contact with the community. The WCA is the... what did that stand for? It was the advisory committee, which has since been disbanded. So I feel like if any of them, the advisory committee, just based on the name, would have been the one that actually looked outward. Because so this is like this is a business fallacy, or a business truism, that anyone who runs a business, any of you who are thinking about being entrepreneurs and business owners and stuff, it's very difficult. It's not impossible, but it is very difficult to work on a business when you are consistently and constantly working in the business. Do you understand what I mean by that? When I'm working in my Cube store, I'm making listings, I'm packing orders, I'm doing promo, I'm doing this. That's working in. That's working in the business. You're doing the thing. You're doing the thing. And that's what WRC and that's what WCAT are doing. They're doing the thing. And the board, to a huge extent as well, to a too large an extent, in my opinion, are working in the organization. Arguably, the board should be working on the organization. And what I mean by that is moving it forward at the high level. Where are we going? What is the next 5 years for us? All these huge questions that are vital for an organization's well-being and moving forward. That's what the board and potentially a research committee could be doing, while the other committees are focused and operational and just doing their thing. Beautiful. That is, to me, a good organization. And again, I am like a broken record. We need board. Right under the board, reporting to them, we need a CEO. A CEO, a paid member of staff, in my opinion, who is delegated specifically to run operations. So run everything and report back to the board. So the board can sit and go, the board can sit back and manage their own stuff, their own board stuff, like their future replacements, their elections and all that kind of stuff, and their big strategic planning, all that stuff. That's what a board, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, should be doing. And our board seems to be just so tied up in operations. It just makes me a bit sad, and a bit sad for them, because it's really, really tough. So what are we talking about? We're talking about Cade's post here that says, hey, an R&D committee or an R&D department would be a good idea. I think, having given it some provisional thought, I think I probably agree with you, Cade. I think I probably agree with you that wouldn't be a terrible thing. But I also would say the board actually should be leading some of that stuff, and they're unable to because they're just bogged down in busy work. Is that enough? That's enough for today, everyone. It's 11:15. I need to go and live my life and have a sandwich. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Please do leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you want to see more. I stream once a week and I release videos pretty much every day. Also, use code CUBECAST to save 5% at speedcubeshop.com, Cubing Life Academy, speedcube.nz, lastlayercubing.com. Have fun, solve cubes, and I'll catch you in the next one.